Hello, everyone. It's Sunday, January the 3rd, and I would like to do a report today for what happened in the MILAB child trafficking operations, which is run by DARPA and the CIA and owned by the Bush family. And I got a question. I get so many emails, and I got a really good question, and I couldn't go back to find where the question actually was to answer it. And I thought, well, this would be a good question to answer publicly. And because I think it was a woman that asked me, who are these people? And, you know, what's going on? Are they shapeshifters? Are they reptilians? What's going on? And so, besides putting my own personal viewpoints in, and by the way, I'd like to remind everyone, I only share what I know to be true. I share what I've learned and with other people, and then I always say, you know what, rather than just say, oh, well, Tori said this is true, so this is the absolute truth. No, because I'm not the source of truth for everyone in this universe. It doesn't work like that. If you say, well, Tori said that, this guy's raping children, I want to do my own research. And the best way to do that is to create an intent. And because the power of intent is amazing. And the best one I suggest to do is create an intent to only know the truth. And I've been doing that constantly because they put this energy over us to try to block us from the truth, so then we get false information. And I certainly don't want to accuse anybody falsely of so that's why I go back and I verify and I check again, and then I call the Hall of Research. And basically, like going to these libraries, it's like I've got a library card and I can go there and I can communicate with these libraries, and a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't even know they can. And so that's basically what I'm doing, because I really don't know anything. I don't know how the universe works or anything. I just go look stuff up or ask people what's going on. And then they tell me, and then I come back and share what I know or what I've learned, And because the biggest question was, why are they doing this daily? Why is it daily? And there were 819 reptilians that had to use technology and drinking of human blood to appear human. And mostly the Bush family, the Rockefeller family, the Rothschild family, the Windsor family, and many members of the Vatican, and I believe there are quite a few out in Hollywood. And because they like to be worshipped. That's why the Queen is like such a horrible monster, because it's all about this worship energy. Because most princes and princesses and kings and queens that lived in other star systems in our galaxy are all caretaker positions. In other words, like they just go around and help people and provide for their needs, make sure they have a good home, and that they have all their needs are met. Which, like the Vatican has enough money to feed, clothe, and house every person on this planet, but they don't. Oh, here's a bug, one of those ladybugs that bite. They always get in the house this time of year. But they don't. They keep all their money in the bank. These families have trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, and they just sit on the money because they'd rather make people suffer. And the Hall of Research said the 816 reptilians left out of the 819, because a few have been arrested, they cannot appear human anymore. That's why they're doing this daily now. That's why they're raping and murdering children daily, is because they have to drink huge amounts of blood, but they still can't appear human. And I got a message from this wonderful woman in heaven, and because she had told me that it was over, and then the Hall of Research said that's why she told you it was over, because they can no longer appear human. It's basically over for them. And a woman had asked me, hopefully it was a woman, I forgot to check. She asked me about the clones and what's going on. And as of right now, and usually I do monitor how many clones we have on the planet, because the number fluctuates wildly. And right now I can only find 2, and then the Hall of Research verified there were only 2. Barack Obama has a clone, and George H.W. Bush has a clone in case that he needs to appear in public. However, but the real George W. Bush has been arrested, and so is his wife Barbara, and so is Dick Cheney, and they're all have their own cell, and they're very close to each other. I think they're right next to each other. And that's in Aeron. That's where all these people who've been arrested, well, most of you would call them aliens, but I don't, because alien to me means unknown, not easily recognizable DNA. And they said that they're working on more clones for people but the vibration is too high now on the planet for them to function properly. So like Obama, they said Obama is now only appearing in public for like a short period at a time. I don't know what that means. I didn't have time. There's so much going on today, and this report is actually going to be short because I've been spending all my day going through and just getting attacked over and over. They send the temporal bodies into the house with weapons, and I have to clear all that out and clear the energy and start over again and verify. But I've been going through all these Indiana politicians who are involved in the child trafficking, and it's just amazing. Which led to another question, is like, who are these people really? Well, there was a group called the Anunnaki who basically came in and took over this planet about 13,000 years ago. And one of the first catastrophes that they caused was called Noah's Flood. That's what most of us call it. And it was a catastrophe that killed a huge amount of people on this planet. And they worked with this other group called the Insectians, or the Greys, who, by the way, 4.8 million Americans have been abducted by this group of Zeta Reticulans. Most people call them the Greys. They're actually Insectians. And there's 53 species of Zeta Reticulans in our galaxy. I believe they're from the Milky Way, but they've also moved out, and now they live in 2 other galaxies. But 4.8 million people, and a lot of times what they would do is they would take our DNA because the Insectians wanted it. They're the ones who used to eat our human children all the time for technology. And but the Anunnaki had this plan, and they wanted to almost like reptilianize many humans. And so they started blending reptilian DNA into human DNA, and that's why we have so many hybrids here on the planet, or call them blends, a blended DNA of a couple different species. And as a matter of fact, I just found another 4-species person who's a Indiana representative, and it's just bizarre how somebody can be reptilian, amphibian, insectian, and human. And I just look at these people in amazement, because it's just, wow, there's so much going on in there. So much going on in their DNA, but unfortunately, almost all of them are not benevolent. They're malevolent. Although there's one guy named Simon Parks. He's a 4-species person, but he's a benevolent man, which is nice to have some on our side, right? Okay, and she also asked about shapeshifters, and also the Hall of Research said there's only a few people left can do shapeshifting. And what I know is that when people would move to, there's a star system called Bellatrix, and if I remember right, I think it's in the close to the Orion Belt. And although we consider it, although sometimes a star may be an additional a couple hundred years, light years behind a star, and not all, they all look like a cluster to us. But anyway, in Bellatrix, that's where everybody seems to get their shape-shifting abilities. Why? I have no idea. And not everybody. They would just only have a select group. And a lot of the dark ones that the Bush and Cheney families have hired to come in and assassinate a lot of us are from Bellatrix. And although not originally, there's one star system called, it's UXLA. And at first I thought it was like a stupid hick. I thought it was Uxla, but that's not. It's pronounced Uzula. Uzula reptilians. There's 1,271 species of reptilians in the Milky Way. And but once again, the vibration is too high for, they cannot hold the image very long, a fake image of shape-shifting. And that's what a lot of times they would do. And there was a lot of other researchers that would talk about MILAB experiences, and they would say, oh, Tom Cruise came in and raped me last night. Well, it was usually like the temporal body of Tom Cruise. However, they would also have this technology, or shape-shifting technology. There was 2 things. And they could come in and appear as a Hollywood celebrity, like Chris Hemsworth or whatever. And, many people would be attracted to them, but actually it would be a dark entity, reptilian CIA agent who would look like a Hollywood, and almost, from my personal experiences, it's almost, better to have the dark entity, reptilian CIA agent than the Hollywood celebrity, because, they, and that's another thing too. I think humans, we have this genetic defect that we trust people who are beautiful, and we shouldn't, because they're not trustworthy, most of them anyway. And I think it's a major defect. And we always want to do things for beautiful people. We're like, wow, and oh, sure, I'll help you out. It's a major defect we humans have. Okay, I'm sorry. And then for today, there were 56 children in 2 locations, Crawfordsville, Texas, and Dallas. And in Crawfordsville, they have 40 children, and they're all dead now. They were all gang raped and then killed. And members, there were 12 members of the Bush family. There were 8 CEOs and 5 other corporate executives. And Bill Clinton was present this day, and he raped a 5-year-old girl. And then the fake Hillary killed that child. And there are also 10 Secret Service members. And if you hadn't watched another video I did, but Hillary Clinton was actually murdered when she was 22 years old, and she's now in heaven. And then they did this thing where they took her body and they put a male reptilian inside the body. And I don't know exactly how all that works, but and they did the same thing to Senator Dianne Feinstein. They killed her. She's actually in heaven. And, Jimmy Carter's in heaven. And then they put their, whatever, most people probably call them demon spirits or whatever, close to it. And then they live on and do, of course, the will of the dark. And then in Dallas, we had 16 children, not we, but there were 16 children. I say we as a country, America, because we allow this to happen. And some of us are fighting for justice. I don't think most people care. And there were 17 CEOs there, 12 Texas State Troopers, 16 Dallas-Fort Worth police officers. And I don't know what they've got planned tomorrow. My mom's having surgery on Tuesday morning, and her internet's out, so I don't think I'll be able to do a report for tomorrow, so I'll probably have to wait and do Monday's report on Tuesday. But I want to stay on top of this and just to let people know what's going on, because I know that a lot of people really have started to care. And a lot of police officers I got a message that was like 78,000 police officers across this nation are now involved and working on this situation. And I hope that I heard that message accurately, because there's no psychic is 100% accurate. And, and I'm not. I get things wrong here and there. But I like that, because if nobody can be perfect, I like to be super accurate when I'm doing this work involving the child traffickers and, seeking justice for them. And I certainly don't want to ever falsely accuse someone. And most of the time, it just hits me like a brick in the head, because when you look at someone and pull up their DNA, it's always the most horrible things that they've done come right out first. Raped 56 children and murdered 8 of them, or whatever. And, but your prayers, desire is what's going to end this. If everyone in America had the desire to end child trafficking at the same moment, it would end in a matter of minutes. But most people are off trying to earn money. There goes the ladybug. They try to, off earning money or pay the bills or taking care of their families or whatever. But we are making a difference, and the vibration of this planet is really changing. And thank you for your prayers for the end of this situation.